What if I told you that in 1518, in the city of Strasbourg, France, people literally danced themselves to death? Hard to believe, isn't it? And yet, this story sits in the dusty pages of history as a strange and undeniable truth. When we hear the word contagious, most of us think of germs, viruses, or physical illness spreading through a population. But under the right conditions, fear itself can become contagious. And when the human mind is pushed beyond its limits, it can turn against the very body it inhabits. This fragile bridge between mind and body has given rise to some of the most bizarre events ever recorded in history. And among them, one stands out, both extraordinary and deeply unsettling: the dancing plague of 1518. In the summer of 1518, the city of Strasbourg was already on the verge of collapse. Famine had weakened its people. Disease crept through its narrow streets. Poverty, fear, and religious anxiety shaped every waking moment. Many believed their suffering was divine punishment. Simply surviving was considered a miracle. Then one day, something happened that no one, even today, can fully explain. A woman named Frau Trophäa stepped into the street and began to dance. There was no music, no celebration, no visible reason whatsoever. People stopped and stared. Some laughed. Some simply watched, confused. Others assumed she would tire and stop. She did not stop. Hours passed, then days. 6 full days. Frau Trophäa's feet bled. Her body trembled. And still, she did not stop, as if her mind had lost all control, and her body had been taken over by something else entirely. And then, others joined her. Within days, dozens of people had taken to the streets of Strasbourg, dancing uncontrollably. At first, 34, then more. By the end of the month, nearly 400 people were dancing without rest. Men, women, the young, the old. They could not stop. They danced until they collapsed. Some screamed in agony, some begged for help, and some did not survive. Witnesses reported that on certain days, as many as 15 people died. The city was no longer witnessing a spectacle. It was witnessing a nightmare. Desperate for answers, the authorities turned to doctors. The doctors spoke, and what they decided became one of the most absurd and most deadly medical decisions in recorded history. According to medieval medicine, the problem was overheated blood. The solution seemed straightforward. The dancers had to keep dancing. Musicians were brought in. Stages were erected in the town squares. The sound of drums and flutes filled the streets. But instead of stopping the madness, it fueled it. More people joined. More bodies fell. What had begun with a single woman dancing alone had pushed an entire city to the edge of collapse. Eventually, the authorities changed course. The dancers were taken outside the city, to shrines and chapels dedicated to Saint Vitus, whose intercession was believed to cure involuntary movement. Slowly, the number of dancers began to decline, and just as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. But it left behind deeply troubling questions. So, what really happened? Centuries later, historians and scientists are still debating. One theory points to mass psychogenic illness, a collective mental breakdown, a population crushed under the weight of famine, disease, fear, and religious pressure, until the mind simply shattered and the body lost control. Another theory suggests ergot poisoning, a toxic fungus that can grow on rye grain, capable of causing hallucinations and violent muscle spasms. But neither theory explains everything. Not the scale, not the synchrony, not the sudden end. What makes the dancing plague of 1518 truly terrifying isn't just what happened, it's what it reveals. Fear can spread faster than any virus, and when the human mind is pushed too far, it can rise up against the body itself. This was not a legend. This was a real, documented historical event recorded by witnesses, physicians, and city officials alike. And it remains, to this day, an unsolved darkness in the story of humanity.